Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the morning habits that changed my life. If you guys are new around here, my name is Becca. I'm a registered dietitian, so I do share a lot of nutrition and health and wellness and food content here on my channel. But I am also a mom. I have 3 little ones, 3 and under right now, and life is a little busy, life is a little crazy. I'm obviously a working mom. I work from home. So, you know, life is busy. So it's really, really important for me to, or I've learned that it's super important for me to be intentional about the vibe of my home. It's intentional for me to take care of myself and to do certain things that just really help me set the tone for the day in the morning so that I can show up as my best self. And I'm going to share with you the 7 habits that have really changed the game for me in this area. If you can hear some noises in the background, that's because my 3-month-old is hanging out with us, just off camera. And also, you guys, I'm fancy now. I have a little mic because a lot of you complain about the audio. I live in an old house, plaster walls, wood floors, tends to be echoey. So hopefully this sounds a little bit better. Okay, so my very first habit is probably the hardest one, but it's probably also the most impactful, and that is waking up early. I have always been a morning person for as long as I can remember. However, once I had kids, this kind of changed. It's not that I became a night owl per se, but waking up just became so much harder. But at the same time, it became even more valuable because the early morning hours when everyone is still asleep is when I actually have quiet time. It's when I have time, A, to think, and B, to do things for myself and only for myself. I don't have to worry about anyone else. I don't have to worry about, doing something for myself and feeling guilty that someone else is with the kids and I'm not. So that is just such a sacred time. And while it is so hard to get up early, these days I've been trying to get up at 5:30 a.m. and Bo still wakes up at night, usually just once, which is how I feel like I'm able to actually pull it off in this kind of like transitioning out of the newborn phase. But it is so important for me to do that and to like show up for myself in that way. During my early morning quiet time, I spend a little bit of time doing a Bible study because that's something that's super important to me, reading the Bible, praying, that kind of thing. I also just have recently taken up kind of journaling. So literally just like having a random notebook where I just write out whatever thoughts, maybe it's things that I'm trying to work on for myself, maybe it's, prayers, intentions that I have, just kind of anything that's spinning around or swirling around in my head, taking up brain space that I honestly don't have to spare. I will write it down and it just kind of helps me get it out of my mind, process it. And I also think it's kind of cool to look back, months or years from now to see maybe things that I was worried about or was praying about or anything like that, kind of see like where life has taken me since then. Also may do a little bit of work too. I usually just like to get cozy with like a blanket on one of our couches. Again, the house is quiet. Even if my oldest, who's 3, tiptoes downstairs, I've kind of trained her that this is still mom's quiet time and you need to just either hang out with me and be quiet or sit on the couch and look through a book. And doesn't always go perfectly because she's 3. But just being really intentional about carving out this time for myself and teaching any little ones who decide to crash the party that this is mom's time is super, super important for me and is life-changing. So I kind of already mentioned doing a Bible study or journaling, but that is kind of my second tip, along with getting up early. And can you get down? How long have you been there? So I kind of already mentioned this, but doing a Bible study or journaling, something like that, that is definitely my second tip. So obviously waking up early is the first tip, but then what you actually do with that morning time is really important, and I think something that you should be intentional about, and certainly being intentional about it for me has been a game changer. Years ago, I read a book called The Miracle Morning, which is a really, really great book. I honestly should go back and read it again, but it was basically this kind of system that you can follow in the morning, once you get up early, and what you can do with that quiet time, like journaling, reading, exercise, things like that. So I would highly recommend reading that book if you want a little direction in what to do with your quiet time to be the most impactful and to really set the tone for your whole day. My third habit is to hydrate early in the morning. So this may seem like an obvious one, but I don't know about you, but it's so easy to skip because when I first wake up, I don't really like want to chug a bunch of water. I just want coffee. Like that is what I want. But I have learned that it is, I mean, I know from a biology standpoint, but also just from like, you know, how it makes me feel, it's so important to hydrate first thing in the morning. So I have one of those, you know, like Stanley tumblers. It's like 40 ounces. And I aim to drink an entire one of those before I have coffee in the morning. If I can get half down, that's usually fine. Just kind of depends on how the morning goes. But I do definitely make sure that I am fully hydrated before I go for that cup of coffee. Now, hydration is obviously really important and, you know, a key to health. But also I find that if I don't hydrate first thing in the morning and I just go for the coffee, it's weird. I don't want to drink water throughout the day. Like if I don't start off hydrated, I am so much less likely to reach for water, to want to drink it, to like, you know, feel thirsty. Versus if I hydrate first in the morning, it almost like it makes me feel thirstier and want to drink more water throughout the day, which sounds backwards, but this always happens to me. So I find that if I hydrate first thing in the morning, it is so much easier for me to continue to drink water and remain hydrated throughout the day. Next, I like to move on to really like setting the tone in my house and just doing a couple little things that make me feel good and just kind of give me a little bit of that like mojo that I need to attack the day. And that is first putting some music on. Music can immediately change the vibe in your house, and it just does wonders for my energy level, for my happiness, and just for like how patient I feel and excited I feel about the day. It just makes the biggest difference. A few years ago, we invested in a couple of like those Sonos speakers, and it has been one of the greatest purchases truly I feel like we have made for our home. We just have two of them, but they're really loud, and we have them in like kind of opposite ends in our downstairs, and you really can hear the music throughout the bottom floor, and it is just so nice to have just that background just kind of beat going. Depending on the day, it might be something that is more like upbeat and kind of energizing, but typically I go for more like soft background acoustic-y type music. I love on Spotify any of like, or Amazon Music, that too, any like dinner party playlists that they have. They're always like just so good. The next thing that I will do to set the tone is to fill up our diffusers. So in the morning, I love doing anything like citrusy or really clean smelling, just something that is just going to kind of elevate the mood, make everything smell nicer, make everything smell fresh. It's just a really great way to wake up. And I find that just having the diffusers going, seeing like the mist going, smelling like grapefruit and peppermint and like pine and just these really lovely kind of energizing aromas, it just makes me so happy. Or right now it's fall, so I'll get like a really good fall blend that's like warm and spicy and cozy going, and it just makes the whole house feel cozy and like inviting and just warm, and that is the vibe I want in my house all the time. If we can always like remain in this like cozy like hygge, is that how you pronounce it, vibe, everyone is so much happier. So that is what I kind of use the diffusers for. I don't burn like fragrance type candles in my house. I do love like a good beeswax, just like pure beeswax candle, like one going in the kitchen maybe, but I am all about the diffusers, all about diffusing oils all day, and it makes such a difference in just like the vibe of our home. The sixth habit is thinking about dinner while or like right after you eat breakfast. And this is a huge game changer for me because it's important for me to cook a healthy meal for my family, but if you're not prepared, this will throw a huge wrench in actually accomplishing that goal. So after breakfast, I like to think about, okay, what am I actually making for dinner tonight? I have a little chalkboard where I actually write our meals on, which having them like written up where I can see them So helpful. Cannot recommend that more, instead of like written in a book somewhere or written on a list that is just like not easy to see. It's not like in your face kind of thing. So that has been so helpful. But I will think about dinner and say, okay, is there anything that I need to prep ahead of time? Are we having a crock pot meal where I need to actually like get out the crock pot so that I don't forget around lunchtime to get it going? Do I need to thaw meat? I'll walk out to our big freezer in the barn and I will, you know, pull out ground beef or chicken or whatever it is that we need for dinner that night, and I will get it defrosting early so that it is ready to go when it is dinner time. But just making sure that I am thinking about anything I need to do ahead of time so that dinner will go more smoothly, not be stressful, but also so that it will actually happen. And then my last and final daily habit is to actually get dressed. Real clothes. Now, I'm not necessarily getting dressed like I'm going into the office like I used to years ago, like not quite business attire, but I think it is so important to actually get yourself dressed. If you are just straight up staying in your pajamas, you are going to be way less motivated. You are probably going to be way less productive. You're not going to feel as energized. I mean, you're literally telling your brain like this is like sleep, cozy, relaxed time. But if it's in the middle of the day when you need to be like, you know, feeding kids and getting work done and cleaning the house and, you know, get like firing off all these tasks, you're just not going to be in the frame of mind to do that if you are still in your pajamas. I feel like the same, and this might be like not what people want to hear, but I feel the same way about leggings. For me, maybe that's not true for you, but for me, if I'm in leggings, my brain is like, this is like cozy, like relax, like curl up on the couch attire, not get work done, be productive, and like be super efficient about it mode. So for me, I personally love to just wear a pair of jeans and some kind of nicer top every day. I'm not, you know, super fancy, it's not super dressy, but if I put on jeans, like real pants, real jeans, and a nice shirt, I automatically feel put together. I feel more energized, and it just kind of elevates like my mindset and my mood, and it just kind of puts me into like, hey, this is daytime where we look nice and we have things that we need to get done and accomplish. So I cannot recommend that enough. Okay, you guys, so those are my 7 morning habits that have absolutely changed my life. I would love to hear down in the comments below what your maybe habits are, or your go-to things that you do every morning that aren't on this list, or maybe they are on this list and they've been super helpful to you, or maybe you've learned something new that you can try to implement in your morning routine to really set the tone for the day and just make yourself feel a little bit better and really elevate your mood. If you guys have yet to subscribe, I would absolutely love for you to join my little community here on YouTube. You can also follow me over on my Instagram. It's just at Becca Bristow to see more of like a behind the scenes kind of into my daily life. But that is all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry if Bo was a little distracting. Just what it is. But again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.